Hi, Mama.
Hi, Vin.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's light and early here, but I've already got my voice t- tuned up because I already did an interview at 4:30 a.m. this morning. Me being
Wow.
not me interviewing someone else, but I how this is going to work is I'm going to introduce the show, introduce you, let you take it away, and then I'll be asking you a couple baseline questions, and then I will let you ask me a couple questions if you choose to do so.
Okay. Amazing.
Amazing. Let's do this. Welcome to Ask When, everyone. Today I have Barbara with me. And so I'm going to let Barbara take it away and share her story with you guys.
Hi, Win. I am so delighted to be here, and for you at this really early time. For me, it's a normal morning time, but for you, it's really early. So thank you for taking the time and wanting to talk with me. I am a transformation coach for what I like to call intuitive, ambitious aliens. And those to me are highly sensitive people, intuitive people, empath people, or other people that resonate with my story that have felt like they were weird or strange for most of their life and felt like they didn't fit in, like they didn't belong, or like they needed to be someone else in order to be accepted, to have friends, and to be happy. And I used to be one of these people. I used to got told that I was just too sensitive, that I needed to learn to grow a thicker skin, that I needed to learn to let things go more easily, and that I needed to learn how to not take everything so personally. And in hearing these words, I just create this story for myself that I am not good the way I am and that I need to change. And I see this with a lot of the people that I am fortunate enough to help. And then we create masks for ourselves. A mask that we wear when we are out with friends, a mask that we wear when we are working, a mask that we wear when we are with friends, a mask that we wear when we are with family, and none of those masks are really who we truly are. So, what I do now is I help people to be their authentic self, to let go of all the masks, to discover how wonderful they are, what talents and what gifts they have, and how to use them to create a life for themselves that's both rewarding and fulfilling, like I have done for myself. And for most of us, that will take a form of being a business owner, because I think that if you truly want freedom and you truly want to take the reins of your own life and decide how your life is going to be and how happy you're going to be in it, the best way to do that is by becoming an entrepreneur, because that allows you total freedom. Freedom in money, freedom in choices, freedom in how you live your life. But it can also mean that if you feel you're not entrepreneurial material, or that you just don't have it in you, or you don't want to, that you go and look for that job that brings out the best in you, that really lights up your eyes, that sparks your insights, and that you love going to every day, instead of the 9 to 5 hassle that most of us are in, that feels mandatory and that doesn't make you happy. But everybody around you does the same and nobody
Yeah.
is really happy. So you think that's just the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And you recognize it probably.
I do. I do. I gave up. I do. I gave up a job. Well, that job gave up me in March because of COVID.
Mhm.
And we're recording this October 5th of 2020. We're listening in a world pandemic. And a lot of people have lost their jobs due to a world pandemic, aka coronavirus. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. That's why I kept my mouth shut, because you were preaching my language. And I've been blessed and fortunate enough to be a full time content creator since March. Been doing this
Wow.
for 10 years and part time, then transferred into a full-time job of me being a content creator. But if I have to go back to a W-2 job, I will. It will not be in education. Education hates me because I am such a creative person that education hates me, and I it's like fitting a square peg into a round hole.
I know.
Nope,
Yeah.
nope, 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 nope. I won't do it. People say, "Wendy, you're too creative." One, I'm an impasse, so one, I can read a room in 2 seconds flat. I know when to run the other direction,
Mhm.
and I get along with certain signs, certain signs. Cancers I get along with. Scorpios I get along with because they're water sign. Leo, Leo, I live with one, but um, it goes in and out whether we get along or not. And so, but I'm learning how not to give a flying rat's ass as
Mhm.
to how people perceive me because they perceive me as a disabled person. They treat me as if I'm dumber than a box of rocks. And
Yeah.
unbeknownst to them, I have 1 degree working on my second degree already and 1 degree in education. And man, education, I I don't know whether I didn't like it or it didn't like me, but I ran the other way when I said it was sad because I said to my boss at the time, I said, "Well, do you want me to come in and mask up and glove up and help and say goodbye and do what I need to do?" Because I never took a day off in my life from that job. But he goes, "We don't have a plan. It's easier if you stay home." And this was at the beginning of the pandemic. And of course, we'll still pay you. I said, "Bye, guys. I'm off to journalism land where I'm loved. Bye, guys. I will not be returning. I'm off to journalism land where I'm loved." And ever since then, I've been happy as a clam.
Good for you. Really good for you, Win. Because I see so many people struggling and just going through the motions because they think that's just the way life is supposed to be. When they talk to their friends, nobody is really happy in their job, and
No,
a lot lack the courage to just say enough is enough, and this is just not working for me, and I'm going to pursue what my dreams are, because most of us even don't dare dream. We are so focused on the bears in the road that are preventing us from really being able to dream, that we just don't do it anymore, and that, I think, is a real shame. So good for you. Good that you are
yeah.
defying
Well,
society's perception of you and just doing your thing.
I am, my father was a solo entrepreneur and he never understood my stepmom's job, which she still has. She's still in corporate America, mind you. And my dad never quite understood. I understand her job more than my dad did because I was in one and I know how stressful a job is. But if you have a job that you absolutely love, and as Barbara and I have been talking about, you go to that job and never work a day in your life. I mean, I'll get up at 4:30 in the morning to do content creation. I'll get up at 6 a.m. to do content creation because to me, journalism and content creation is not a job, even though they call it a job. But
Yes.
even though they call it a job, it's not a job. It's
Mhm.
in my blood, it's in my soul. Whereas when I went into the classroom and when I did the education stint for 13 years, and I thought, okay, here we go again. I dread it. Monday mornings, I dreaded Fridays like everyone else does. Now I'm happy to go clam sitting in my corner at my desk at 6 a.m.
Yes, exactly. I was having this discussion with my boyfriend the other day. He is still stuck in his 9 to 5 job and he is not happy with the job that he's working in, but he feels like he needs to work enough years at that company before he can leave or find something else so that it will look good on his resume. And he has these types of beliefs that I used to have myself. So I recognize them and I see them with so many other people. And then he asked me, how do you do it? How do you still have enough energy to be happy and cheerful when you get home and to want to do stuff? Because when I get home from my day job, I'm just floored. I'm exhausted. I am done for the day. And the only thing I want to do is just lie down and not get up again until the next morning. And I explained to him that that has to do with loving your job. If you have to force yourself to go to a job that doesn't give you excitement, that doesn't give you fulfillment, that is not rewarding, that's not sparking any interest or any positive energy in you, then it will just drain you and you will feel overwhelmed and exhausted and tired at the end of the day. But if you do something like you and me that you want to get up really early for, or that you want to work really late for. I did a coach summit and I worked from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. because that was the time that the summit was. And you know, you love doing it because it's for your own business and it's following your dreams, your bliss, the thing that you want to do, and you choose it wholeheartedly. And then it gives you energy and you have enough energy left to do all other stuff, because what you do during your day, which is the biggest part of your day, your job, it's just rewarding and it makes you happy. And that's just a huge difference.
Yeah, that's just a huge difference. I mean, geez. So, okay, now that we talked about this, what would be your advice for people either looking for a job or stuck in a job that they hate or have lost their job completely due to the world pandemic and they have been searching and searching and searching, and different jobs have popped up. They've interviewed, but they haven't quite found the right fit for them, or the interview has gone well and they still don't get a job because they the company doesn't seem like they'll fit.
Mhm. Well, I think for all, all are slightly a bit different. So the most general advice I could give for all these categories is to really get to know yourself.
Okay.
Really get to know your user manual, what makes you tick, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what gives you energy, what drains you energy, what sparks your interest, and what makes it so that you slowly die. And if you get that image of yourself, then it will be much easier to check if something that comes along is a fit for you, if it's in line with your strengths, for instance, or if it's in line with what gives you energy. And then it will be much easier to say yes or no to an opportunity. What I also see is that when people go for a job interview, they usually try to be the person that they think the company wants to hire instead of being the person that they truly are. And then you will maybe land the job, but it's not to say that it will be a happy job or that it fits you. So I think it's more important to be who you are, to really show them who you are, what your talents are, what your strong suits are, what you can do for the company, what you can bring to the table, and then have them or yourself decide if that is a right fit. So ask a lot of questions also to the company. What type of company are you? What are your morals? What are your values? What is being expected of me in this job? And then see if it's the right fit, and don't be afraid to say no or to refuse a job or feel bad when the job refuses you, because then it's just not the right job for you. And you need to learn to trust that when a door closes, a window opens somewhere,
Yeah.
so that when this job doesn't hire you or you don't want this job, that another one will come along that's just much better and a much better fit.
Interview them as much as they are interviewing you. It
Yes.
doesn't, a traditional job interview, trust me, I've had two, and two was enough for me. And I've had two, and I've interviewed in place for myself, because those of you that are brand new to my story, I have a physical disability and I need help 24/7. Even though I can do content creation on my own, I need help 24/7. And so I've been in the situation of interviewing employees. I've also been interviewed in job interviews, but interview them as much as they're interviewing you, because we want a match made in heaven. At the
Exactly.
end of all this COVID craziness, world pandemic craziness. I want people to succeed, whether it's a solo entrepreneurship or whether it's a job that you can make a job passionate. You don't have to be a solo entrepreneur. I'm
No.
just a solo entrepreneur until I find that job. Yes, I said until I find that job. Thank you very much. I'll go back into W 2 land as long as I'm passionate about W 2 land. And right now I'm taking the time off to do content creation and do my journalism school and finish that up. And then I'll start looking for a W 2 job that I'm passionate about. But you don't have to make um, it the Monday morning blues every single day. I've seen memes on Facebook. I've seen people posting on social media about Monday morning blues. And it's like, okay, give it up, you guys, give it up, because you have to work in a company that you absolutely love to have energy at the end of the day, to
Yes.
homeschool your kids, to be a mommy, to be a grandma, to be anyone you want to be, to help
Yes.
your family.
Yes. And you also need to believe that such a job is out there for you, because a
Yeah.
lot of us don't believe that that is possible. And another piece of advice would be to get really clear on what your big dream is. So if everything is possible, there's enough money, there's enough knowledge, there's enough time, you have everything you need, really everything you would need. What is it that you then truly want? What is that thing that makes you really happy, that lights you up, that makes your eyes spark, that makes your heart sing? What is that? And don't let yourself be stopped by the bears in the road, because there are no bears in the road. Everything is possible. So if everything is possible, what do you really want? And then use that as your North Star, as your guideline. Even if you don't become an entrepreneur, you also don't have to be a solo entrepreneur. You can also be a franchise. You can also have a business partner. There are many forms of entrepreneurship out there that you can try or maybe explore. But even if you are really, really sure that that is not what you want, then still use this as your North Star to attract the job that is in line with that North Star, that really gives you that fulfillment and that joy, and believe that that is possible for yourself.
I I believe you. I'm trying to practice what I preach. That's why I hit the recording button at 6 a.m., you guys.
Yes,
And so it's, I believe you, but so many people think that a job is a job is a job, and
yes,
I will do this job until the day I die for the paycheck. And then they realize, in to give you an example, in education, they realize that education doesn't give a high paycheck. Why not do a why not transfer out of that non high paycheck job and transfer into something in corporate America, mind you, or solo entrepreneurship, or working with a team? Um, that gives you the passion and motivation to not hit the snooze button on the alarm. End of soapbox.
Yes. Yes, I completely agree with you. You know, you need to think in possibilities, in options, in dreams, because I don't know if you listeners have ever heard about this, but there's something that's called the law of attraction. And what that basically means is that the energy you send out is the energy that you get back. So if you are constantly focused on problems and high bills and unhappy thoughts and unhappy situations, then that is basically what you are inviting more of into your life. And you probably don't realize that you are doing that, but that's just the law, that's just what's happening. So if you feel like you are stuck in a life that is not giving you joy, that's not giving you fulfillment, and you only see high bills, losing your job constantly, having to struggle, then that means that you are in an energy of lack, in an energy of shortness, of not having enough or not seeing enough or experiencing negativity in your life. And the way to get out of that is to start focusing on the silver linings in your situations, because
Oh,
there's always a silver lining, there's always something to be learned, and the thing that you focus on, that will grow. So if in all the hardship that you are experiencing you can find that silver lining, you can find that one thing, and even if that one thing is just, I woke up this morning. I didn't die in my sleep. I woke up this morning and I have a choice for a bright new day. Then, if you focus on the silver linings in everything that's happening in your life, you are focusing on positivity, on love, on light. And then you will invite more of that into your life as well. And that is how you change from a life of suffering and hardship. And I know what I'm talking about because that has been most of my life for a very, very long time. But if you start to focus on the things that you can be grateful for, or the things that you can be thankful for, or the things that do make you smile, or that are positive, even in the midst of all the negativity and the hardship and the shit, then you can start to turn your life around. You can start attracting the things in your life if those are also the things that you start focusing on in your current life.
yeah. Yeah. It's all about manifestation and it's all about law of attraction. Yes. And
Yes.
so as we wrap this interview up, do you have any questions for me?
Well, what I am always very interested in, you know, I also have a podcast. It's called 100% Yourself. And you are just a prime example of being 100% yourself. And you mentioned earlier in the episode that you don't care what other people think of you and how they see you. And I would love to know, has that always been the case? And if not, what did you do to change that?
No, I was trying to be a people pleaser until my dad died. I was really trying to be a people pleaser until my dad died. And then I ended up getting emotionally and physically abused. And I was stuck in this 9 to 5 grind in just to make everyone happy with me. And I was miserable. I was absolutely miserable in the 9 to 5 job. In the 9 to 5 line, I was absolutely miserable, and I lost my job back in 2010. Back in 2008, 2009, 2010, when the first economic crash hit in the United States, and then I tried to regain my footing in the educational setting. I tried to be a good girl and tried to regain my footing in the educational setting. Well, when the world pandemic hit, it just, I was a rebel out. I was, my my thing with them was always, I want to be useful. I want to be useful. It's a huge difference when employers say, oh, we'll hire a person with a disability. And it's a huge difference when they actually mean it. And whereas the employer says, oh, well, equal opportunity employer, mean we'll hire anyone of any color, any creed, any religion, dis any disability, deaf, blind, um, deaf, blind, physical, mental. And so it's a huge difference. So I broke out of my shell. It took me 33 years to break out of my shell to figure out, hey, this is not working for me. I don't know what's wrong with me. I knew I had CP, but I didn't know the complexities of it, believe it or not, until until 2019. Actually, until 2020, when I asked two people in the physical therapy field, I said, is CP, cerebral palsy, a bone and joint condition, or a um, neurological condition? And they both looked at me straight in the face and said, you have a neurological condition, now deal with it. And I barely made it through that physical therapy session. Let's just put it that way. I was blinking back
Mhm.
tears, and I'll never forget it. I called one of my friends who knows me really, really well, who fortunately works with me in an aid capacity. And I said, look, this is the news. I just found out. Did you know any of this? She goes, yes. And I Googled it, and I'm like, well, why didn't you sit down and tell me? She goes, I thought you knew. And I'm like, no, I didn't.
Mhm.
And so then I got into my own skin basically in 2020 after figuring out what was wrong with me after doing my own research as a journalist. Thank you very much on me. And
Mhm.
then I got into my own skin, and I've been a rebel welder ever since because I got angry after I lost my dad.
Mhm.
I got semi angry after I lost my mom because I was starting to get uh, emotionally abused after I lost my mom. Well, on June 23rd, 2019, I got emotionally and physically abused. And so then I really got into a depressive state because until I found out what cerebral palsy actually was and why I needed so much help, because I'm like, why can't I take a shower on my own? Why can't I can feed myself, yes, but why do I need help getting dressed? Why do I need help getting up the stairs? Why do I need help getting to the to my garage? Why do I need a handicapped parking spot? Yes, I knew that I had cerebral palsy, but I didn't know the complexities of it until it hit me in 2020 and I was 33 years old. After I got emotionally abused and finally put the bravery stick up again and asked that. And so ever since then, I don't give a flying rat's ass as to what people think. If people want to like me, they like me. If people want to like my content, they like my content. And other than that, it's I don't give a rat's ass about you. Whether you like me as a content creator, you like
Mhm.
me. And so, but 9 times out of 10 people like me because I'm so authentic, because I give natural interviews, because I give my whole heart into this, because I'm not drained by a day job. And yes, I will go back to a day job as soon as I can find one in the creative field.
Good. Very good. That's very inspiring to hear, Win, because I can only guess at the challenges that have come your way. And I've also been emotionally and physically abused. So that part I have a little bit more
Thanks.
guessing power in.
Yeah,
And it's hard to overcome these things, but it gives such freedom and such power. Don't you agree? When you stop caring what other
yeah,
people think and
no,
just start being you.
no, point being me. And no, for those of you who have been emotionally and physically and sexually abused, that you would think losing both your parents would be the hardest thing in the world. No, that is small potatoes. You would think losing your job twice is the hardest thing in the world. No, that is small potatoes. It's when you lose your virginity as a woman and um and am a people pleaser to the 10th degree, and it's like, no, I don't give a flying rat's ass as to what you think about me. And either you like me or you like me or you don't. So that's
Exactly.
all I'm saying about it.
Yes, very good. Not everybody needs to like you, but you need to like yourself.
Yeah.
And as long as you like yourself, you can look yourself in the eyes in the mirror and think, you're wonderful and I love you and I'm proud of what you're doing, then that's the most important thing.
So, Baba, where can people find you if they choose to do so and if they choose to work with you? I'm presuming right now you are working with people internationally.
Yes. I am. I am on all social medias, and my handle is HSP Coach Barbara with an E, so Barbera, and that's also my website, hspcoachbarbara.com. So that's where people can find me and contact me. And I would love to contact with whoever felt resonated or touched by this interview and just wants to talk.
Yeah, you guys, I'm an empath. I'm an empath, and Baba's an empath too, meaning um, we can feel the vibes in the room. I've always been an empath, you guys. And so, yes, and I'm always looking for guests to you guys. So if you hear this interview and resonate with my interview style, you can always contact me through my website, askwin.weebelieve.com, or you can always contact me. I'm all over the place and on social media under Win WIN Charles, and you can always contact me and help me out and give me interviews. And yeah, you guys, let's make this world a better, stronger place, and let's just love ourselves during this world pandemic. And I will catch you guys next week. Thanks, you guys.